For the most part, games are supposed to be fun, brightening up the mundanity of day-to-day life and often bringing people together. Of course, when it comes to the murky world of horror though, it's often best to entirely avoid any and all games, for some of them have some majorly twisted consequences and stakes at play. From deadly games of cat and mouse, bloody struggles for survival, and everything in between. I'm Andrew from What Culture Horror, and here are the 10 most chilling games in horror movies. Number 10. Would You Rather? Would You Rather? The harmless game that this 2012 horror thriller takes its name from is simple. Players are presented with a selection of hypothetical scenarios in which the aim is to choose which one they would rather do. The options can be anything that your imagination dares to create, but whatever these scenarios are, the player isn't obliged to see their choices through. In this twisted interpretation of the game though, players are forced to play out their choice, none of which are pleasant. The plot centers around Iris, who's in desperate need of money to pay for life-saving treatment for her brother. With nowhere else to go, she takes up the invitation to attend a lavish dinner party hosted by a wealthy philanthropist, played by major genre fave Jeffrey Combs, where the winner of that evening's entertainment will be generously rewarded, forced with choices of whether to electrocute themselves or someone else, stab someone or have another continuously beaten, or slice your own eyeball. This game rapidly devolves into a sadistic night of gruesome entertainment designed to test how far these people are willing to go for a payday. Number 9. Hide and Seek. Ready or not? Getting to know the in-laws can often be a unique, or let's say frankly awkward situation, especially if the first time you meet them is your wedding day. For Ready or Not's Grace, that is the exact situation she finds herself in when she marries Alex, a fella from a vastly wealthy family that owns a successful board game company. To be fully accepted as a member of her new family, Grace has to participate in a long-standing family tradition. Namely, at midnight, she gets to draw a game from a box, which turns out to be hide and seek, and the kicker here is that the family's aim is to kill Grace if they find her. Splattered with gratifying gratuitous violence, Ready or Not has a whole bunch of gleeful fun with its premise, critiquing the world of the rich and privileged in a dark, subversive way that plays brilliantly against the film's crunching brutality. Number 8. Ouija Board. Ouija: Origin of Evil. The spooky Ouija board has been a part of so many horror movies over the decades, and has even been sold as a Hasbro game since the early 80s, which is just bonkers. And while 2014's Ouija spotlighted this particular game, let's face it, that film was pretty just much, trash, awful. Thankfully, prequel Ouija Origin of Evil, it's actually pretty darn good. But then again, it does have the great Mike Flanagan on directing duties. This time out, the Zander family bring a Ouija board into their sham seance business, only for things to backfire spectacularly when sinister shenanigans take over their house and youngest daughter Alice is possessed. By the time all is said and done, Alice and her mother Doris are dead, and eldest daughter Lena is left in the institutionalized state we find her in the first movie. Number 7. Everything in the Saw franchise. Given the ridiculous amount of brutal traps dotted across the 10 Saw movies so far, those traps would usually dominate a video like this. So in order to allow for some other films to shine, the Saw franchise is lumbered together as one big entry on this video. Whether it's John Kramer or one of his twisted apprentices, these games are always horrendous for those involved and can make for a tough watch for audiences. There's the bathroom trap, the reverse bear trap, the needle pit, the pig vat, the finger trap, the freezer, the razor box, and a whole host of other properly grim games that push players to go to extreme lengths to save themselves or others. And with Saw 11 on the way in 2025, the horrors of this beloved franchise don't look like slowing down anytime soon. Number 6. Bloody Elimination Game. Circle. A 2015 release, Circle has a sprinkling of Big Brother, a dollop of Squid Game, and a smidge of The Weakest Link. You are the weakest link. When 50 strangers awaken to find themselves arranged in a, you guessed it, a circle, where they have to vote for somebody to be killed every 2 minutes. The failure to select someone will result in a random person being killed, and any attempts to move from their spot will get an initial warning before that person's also killed. An examination of society, a circle is an intense, gripping experience, with people of varying ages, ethnicities, health statuses, and backgrounds deciding which amongst them is most worthy of living. Granted, the execution is a little rough around the edges at times, but Circle nevertheless instills complex philosophical questions into one simple game with extremely high stakes. Number 5. Battle Royale. Battle Royale. Forget Fortnite or the Hunger Games, for they pale in comparison to the brutal brilliance of Kinji Fukasaku's Battle Royale. Adapted from Kushin Takami's novel of the same name, we find ourselves in a dystopian future where Japan's government looks to combat juvenile misbehavior by having one class of students chosen randomly each year to compete in a 3-day battle to the death. With explosive collars preventing any escape, these students have to rely on a handful of provisions, a random weapon, and their own wits. But the 2003 sequel seen the original's sole survivor, Nanahara, then targeted by a new batch of 9th graders fighting for their own survival. Number 4. Escape Rooms, Play or Die. An ultra-stylish, low-budget Belgian horror, Play or Die brings former lovers Lucas and Chloe together to take part in an exclusive escape room experience that has a cool €1 million as a prize. Taking place in an abandoned mental hospital, which is always a good sign, contestants are met with a series of increasingly tough puzzle rooms as an unseen presence watches on, and while losing in one of those games results in a death. There's some imaginatively gruesome puzzles here, some impressive gore effects, a nice pulpy style, and plenty of chilling atmosphere. Not to mention a fun little reveal in Play or Die's final act. Number 3. The Lament Configuration, Hellraiser. The Lament Configuration, or one of the Le Marchand boxes, is one of those games you really don't want to win. To be more precise, it's a puzzle you really don't want to solve. Of course, these staples of the Hellraiser franchise are a direct line to the Cenobites and the devilish delights that the Hell Priest and company have to show you. As seen, solving these boxes tends to result in hooks brutally firing into your face, and you're then doomed to an eternity of pain and suffering in what is essentially hell. In fact, some of those with interest in these boxes, such as Dr. Chanard in Hellbound Hellraiser 2, wind up becoming Cenobites themselves. Number 2. Hide and Clap, The Conjuring. Truthfully, I'd never even heard of Hide and Clap before the first Conjuring movie, and man is it a game that's now forever been made extremely creepy. A seemingly harmless game where a blindfolded person has to locate their hidden pals or family by getting those pals or family to clap up to 3 times. This was shown in The Conjuring as Carolyn Perrin plays with her youngest daughter April. As the blindfolded Carolyn smiles as she stumbles around the family's new home, she's confident she's got April dead to rights and gets the kiddo to clap one last time, believing April to be hiding in the wardrobe. But while that final clap does come from the wardrobe, it's the nefarious Bathsheba, with April having been hiding in a totally different room. Making this all the more chilling is that we, the viewer, we can totally see what's happening, but poor Carolyn has zero idea due to being blindfolded. And even worse for Carolyn, that same evil presence later pulls an eerie clap on her when Carolyn's stuck in the blacked out basement. Number 1. The Stay Alive video game, Stay Alive. For any online gamers out there, it's guaranteed you'll have come up against those unrelenting, unstoppable pricks who forever get the best of you no matter what you try. Take those moments of online savagery and amp them up to 11, and that's essentially the crux of 2006's Stay Alive. Here, should the players of the Stay Alive video game get killed in the game, they will soon get killed in a similar way in the real world. The spirit of Countess Elizabeth Bathory stalking players both in and out of the game. So, the next time you find yourself battered by some troll online, whether that's Call of Duty, FIFA, Madden, or even my current personal favourite Killer Clowns from Outer Space, remember, at least you've not got a back from the dead Countess waiting to pay you a visit.